Hey guys, Jason DeLong here with Heartland Homes KC and on with Drew today. And this might be the last time, but wanted to have another conversation with him. Talking new construction today.
Yeah, it could very well be the last time. Who knows, Jason? Maybe we'll work something out. We can always come back to this occasionally from time to time. So,
There we go.
but yeah, so talking some new construction. Got a plethora of hard-hitting questions for you as always. So let's dive right into it. So starting with new construction, if I'm looking to buy a new construction property, kind of what are you seeing as far as what's going on out there in the market right now with these new construction properties, Jason?
Yeah, that's kind of like the hot topic right now. Just it's very all over the place is a good way to put it. So it's someone looking to build right now. I mean, it's tough. Like it's tough really for the builder, the agent, trying to transact, the whole deal, and the buyer, trying to make a choice. But materials are in short supply. Material prices are out of this world. Every good subcontractor is busy, so their prices they're not going down. I mean, some of them are going up. So it's just an all-time high to build a house right now. So, but still with values continuing to appreciate and go up, it's not to say that it doesn't make sense to build, but you definitely have to do a little more thinking and make sure that you're, putting your best foot forward, with that decision. So there's a lot of different aspects to look at.
Yeah,
Right.
most definitely, especially with today's market, and then yeah, building supplies, as well as if you were looking to refurnish or anything like that for your home once it's actually built, let alone, I mean, you're waiting months just to get a piece of furniture. I know I
Yes.
personally had to go through that, and still am going through that with some other pieces of things I have purchased for my home. So I mean, I couldn't imagine. It's probably a major headache as far as new construction is concerned. But with that being said, let's turn and look at, so prices as far as new construction are through the roof, with not only home appreciations going up as well as cost of supplies. So when it comes to kind of the financing aspect of new constructions, Jason, what are you typically seeing people do, if there is anything, when it comes to new construction properties as of right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's two ways to go about it. Either you just do a regular loan after the house is done, and I know those are changing day to day. Really, I mean, builders are even just trying to figure this whole thing out, because by the time they give you a price for the house and start digging a hole, lumber could be going up, everything else could be going up. If those prices aren't 100% locked in, or prepaid, some vendors are wanting their stuff prepaid just to lock the price in. Then there's kind of an escalation clause. Like if the buyer pays for the first 20 grand of overages, and there's trying to figure out who pays the rest. But I think you need to have a skilled agent that is used to new construction, that has kind of been trained to handle these kind of ever-changing climates, just to help counsel the buyer and work with the builder to get these things figured out. Because if not, there could be a lot of questions left on the table that the buyer could end up being stuck with during the process. But it could be like any overages, kind of, I guess, back to your original question, that if it goes 20 or 30 grand over, it might hopefully roll that into the loan, but it's still got to appraise for a bank loan, or the buyer might just be having to come out of pocket with cash, or a secondary loan for those.
Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely the financing part, especially with getting one price at the beginning, then it could definitely inflate by the time at the end of the project. So it definitely becomes a bit tricky there. So
Yeah.
let's take a step back from something that you talked about in that last answer there, Jason, as far as the overall process, as far as buying new construction for somebody that wants to start looking to build that dream home from scratch that they've always dreamed of, anything of that sort. But what would be your recommendations besides making sure that you have a great agent familiar with new construction on your side working with you? What is your kind of first steps as far as looking to get into this process today, with how crazy just the new construction and housing market's been as a whole?
Yeah, that's a great question. If somebody's wanting to build their dream home, I think the first thing is they probably have a good idea of what they're looking for, how big of a home, or, if it's a ranch or a 2-story, story and a half, certain plans, certain area. But it's kind of like nailing it down, because if you decide you want to build and then you work with an architect and it takes them 2-3 months to get your plans finalized, I mean, materials could have gone up 20 grand, or 30 grand in the meantime or more, and kind of taking you out of your own price range that you're willing to spend. So, it's kind of having a good idea of what you want, and then figuring out. But like a lot of people, especially this whole last year in the pandemic, they've figured out they can maybe deal with less space, and just get more efficient on their space and save some money. So I'm seeing a lot of that now, a little bit smaller footprints, and that kind of helps offset some of the rising costs of building. But that's the first step. And then, getting with an agent that is used to doing new construction, working with builders. And me looking at it from the builder side and the agent side, you've got to work together. And builders appreciate an agent that's well versed in new construction as well. It just makes their job a little bit easier. And it's got to be confidence for the buyer to know their agent, kind of has their back on that and knows the language in new construction.
Yeah, absolutely. I would concur that, yeah, especially when it comes down to, as far as the negotiation side of things, where kind of figuring out, again, like you mentioned a couple questions ago, like figuring out where those additional expenses are going because of whether it may be to the construction company, the buyer themselves, everything of that sort, because of the inflation of cost of materials and everything like that. So
yeah,
as far as cost of materials goes, Jason, where do you see that going here in the next year, 2 years? Are we going to continue to see prices of lumber and other materials continue to go up, or can we reasonably expect them to start kind of creeping back down to where they were probably prior to COVID?
Yeah, that's I wish I had a crystal ball to nail that down.
Don't we all wish we had a crystal ball, right?
Well, so I read a lot of publications, in the building industry, and listen to podcasts and other things, and economists. And so, putting it all together, I think they'll go up maybe a little bit more this year as everything's starting to kind of settle down from the last year of manufacturing and some of the reasons why the prices have gone up and the materials have been in short supply. But until that levels out, I think you'll see a little bit more of an increase, but I think it'll level out at some point and then start to come back down a little, but it won't come back down to where it was pre-COVID. It just never does, because I think a lot of the vendors see that, hey, builders are still buying materials. They're still needed. So they're willing to pay a certain price, but they will come back. They have to come back down a little bit, or it just makes the construction just unaffordable for most buyers. So I think we'll be in a holding pattern once it does come back down, maybe for another 3 to 5 years, is what I'm hearing anyway. And I don't know, it seems to be true, because it's just we're in such lack of inventory right now that we need to catch up with with that as well.
Yeah, most definitely. And that segues perfectly into my next question, Jason, of could new construction be that, or is new construction moving quickly enough to be that relief of that drastic supply or drastic shortage of supply of inventory for the Kansas City real estate market as of right now?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and the one thing you have to look at, which like Austin, Texas is having an issue with right now, your city, just as far as the permit and planning and zoning, they get bogged down because they're short staffed and they can't get permits or plans reviewed in time to get builders, what they need. And you got to look at the development side. That's what kind of runs it all. It's the ball that starts the whole process is the development side. So if developers can't get lots developed quick enough, then it's going to just be a continual, short supply and a high demand for lots driving the prices up. So there's a lot of development going on now, which I think will, give builders the necessary lots they need. But that's got to continue in order to get, keep everything else going. So I think if it does continue to keep progressing, then yeah, that can kind of catch us back up a little bit and, get us back in line with some kind of balance in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, I know lots of cities across the country are all dying for kind of that supply of or shortage or that supply of new homes to bring some sort of relief to the inventory of their housing markets as well. So, yeah. But outside of that, Jason, that's it for my questions today. Pleasure to join you as always.
Awesome, Drew. I appreciate it, man. It's always good to talk to you.
Hey, you as well, Jason. And other than that, we'll see you next time. Okay.
All right, buddy.